Let me see. Audio level's good. I can turn that up slightly. That should be tuned. And... oh, no, this is a different format. Alright, I gotta tab out and fix that then. Let me see. Alright, there are 3 sectors to control that generate points. Whoever has the most points by the end of the 2-hour round wins. Alright. Let me go ahead, I'll put a 20-minute prediction up, because I know we're going to have people coming in. Blue 4 or Op 4. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and locally mute myself as well. All right, we should be good to go for this stream. This is going to be FNF Wargames. I think their 4th or 5th iteration. I have kind of forgotten. Blue 4 is going to be US focused. Op 4 is going to be Russian focused. Looks like there are 3 sectors in play. That is not my music. Don't know why it didn't loop, but there we go. Hopefully it won't happen again. There we go. Okay. Oh, I hate it when YouTube does that. Whatever. So we've got 3 different sectors here, which is weird because they're labeled sectors 1, 3, and 5. They've got these nice little, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 octoid? Yeah. They're octagon instead of circles. But otherwise, we have, what, 100,000? So basically, it's going to be a point tally. So I'm assuming how this is going to work today is when either Blue 4 or Op 4 get a number advantage in the sector then starts generating points based off of whoever controls the sector. The point generation is probably, you know, 1 point every, like, X amount of seconds. And then the final part of the round will tally the point values of each, and whichever side has more points is going to win. Otherwise, Blue 4 starting landlocked, Op 4 on a peninsula, but they do have a lawn bridge to work with. Otherwise, commanding for Blue 4 is going to be Sambi with Waldo as the 2IC Fancy, commanding Op 4 with Jerry as the 2IC Op 4. Oh my god. Alright, so Op 4 have 9 T90s. 3 BMP2s over here. We have another 9 T90s with an additional 3 BMPs. So, wow, okay, 12 tanks, 9 IFVs, multiple cars here, some transport MRAPs. We got some radio vehicles as well, some mobile triple R in play. That, oh my, there's even more over here. Jesus.
I os alcohol. I am ready. Also, Liru, it's called Tanks versus Tank Smiles. Only vehicles can cap.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is a tanks versus tanks, Yanni. I also, yep, I did hear there were FPV drones in teams. So basically, this is just an armored fight. I didn't realize that coming in. Ha! That's fine by me. So we're basically going to have infantry teams with AT and drones, IFVs going around, and then mainly tanks. So it's T90s versus, I'm going to assume, Abrams over here. Yep, so we got Bradleys and Abrams for the Blue 4 side. Mobile triple R in play. And apparently only vehicles can cap. We also have some utility 113s over here as well. That is quite interesting. So this is just a massive armor fight. I'm going to be honest, based off of that alone, the Abram damage model is a little more tanky than Op 4s, especially the Bradleys versus the BMPs, and this is just coming from someone that, you know, fights both factions in Antistasi all the time. So I would, by default, just put some money on Blue 4, but that is just me. Regardless, let's go ahead and go over our roster here. So Zahid, Shari, and Cruiser being Alpha Command. Alpha 1 has ASR, Democles, and Freak. We've got Glitch, Prowler, and Axis. I'm assuming this is basically a 3-man armor group, so yeah, 3 tanks in a row. That makes sense. Bravo has Darjeeling, Rodrigue, and Fonz with Newton, Toxic, and Diego, and Wiki Quartz, Rambo, and Skipu. Bravo 3 also involved. That's Maxic, Wenduni, and Grishovsky. Charlie Command's got only Bone, Bebo, and Bordeaux, with Hades and Stiro taking the vehicle crew. And then we got Echo 1 all the way down here, which Echoes are the medium, the medium anti-tank crews. So we have a backpacked weapon here that's probably a tow launcher. Leonardo's classified as the gunner and Scorpio as the assistant. Echo 2 already loaded up in a vehicle. I'd imagine they probably also have a tow of their own. And I see the backpack on Salt. Okay. Echo 3 has Retweak, Jervu, and Dio. And then Foxtrot is 6 guys all together, set as engineers. They're probably going to be our FPV group. And then we have Ash over here alone in Foxtrot. Otherwise, we already have Fancy and Jerry commanding for Op 4. We got Patriot and Mannerheim under Alpha Command. Alpha 1 has Erickson and Wells. Alpha 2 has Schneider and Freeman. Bravo Command has Chris and Banks. Bravo 1 has Eric and Tackleberry. Bravo 2, Green Shade, Twins, and Vaccinator. Bravo 3 has Reinhard, Kunsnet, and Briggs? Charlie has Nemesis, Timo, and Nick. Burton and Dobbs under Charlie 1. Charlie 2 has Wayne, Cullis, and Wise. Charlie 3 has Yanni and SL Dream. Yanni, great player. Dream can get beaten by a girl. It's a tough combo there. We'll see how things go. Wheaton, Anderson, and Martin all together in one group as one Echo team. I think they're going to probably have a Cormet. If Blue 4 have tows, the only thing that balances out against tow launchers is a Cormet, if we're going for that tripod style. So that's what I imagine these guys have. Echo has Whiplash, Puma, and Iander together for Echo 2. Echo 3 has Oddbone, Nekomata, and Watts. Foxtrot 1, so I'm assuming these vehicles are the drone, possibly drone jamming vehicles as well. Cosmonaut, Miller, and Sailor. Foxtrot 2 has Arkin, Friend, Svarg, and McPhill. Otherwise, we do have mission details here. Let's go ahead and look at everything. So here's the rules on the sectors. To complete the objective, sector must be taken established once it is captured. It takes 120 seconds to capture the sector. You gain 1 point per second, and it takes 100,000 points to complete the objective. Let's do some quick math here. 100,000 seconds. So if we take that and we divide that by 60... that gives us 1,666.6 repeated minutes. And then we divide that by another 60 to get the hours. That would be 27 hours. Okay, so we're probably just playing to see whoever gets the most points at that point, because that's a lot. The location of the objectives are marked on the map. You can hit by the locate button. All right, so both sides are basically going for trying to take those sectors. View distance is going to be 3 kilometers for this round. 4 to 5 points is going to be 100. Fortified color green. Time limit 145 minutes. I mean, that doesn't really matter. But yeah, this is going to be a 2-hour fight. They might have extended the clock a little bit, though, because I'm noticing there's a little bit more there, and it said a 5-minute warning. All right, Friday night Wargames TNT edition, which is usually Tuesday night tanks. Feedback appreciated. So this is basically a Wargames variant for tanks and armor only. If you can encounter any problems, they call the admin. AO open plains around Komograd, surrounded by light and heavy forests, hills, and mountains, as well as small villages, and the large town of Mazimovo. Date and game 28th 2024, 12:30. No clouds and no wind. Mission rules: all standard FNF rules apply. Follow order: you can lone wolf as long as you follow the change of command. No theft. Do not steal enemy radios or uniforms. No base camping or attacking. Do not camp the enemy spawn points. Orbat specific: Echo 1-3. So squads 1 through 3 require 3 players: platoon leader, missile specialist, and the assistant missile, because that's the So there's just missile teams there. Op 4 with Cormet launchers. Blue 4 with tows, I'd assume. Golf assets need at least 2 players to be operational. Leave base. Each platoon, Alpha Bravo Charlie, has 4 golf teams: commander, gunner, driver, with 9 tanks and 3 IFVs at their disposal. Command HQ has access to 3 IFVs. All right. Parameters here: performance tweaks, high. So a lot of stuff's been gutted to maximize performance. Otherwise, Blue 4, Woodland Marine camo kits. So, yep, there's our tow launcher, but they've otherwise got MP7s, M4s, and then some camoed ones, and then standard. I don't know why we have a random bipod out there, and then some M72s for short range defense. MRZR is probably for the drone teams. 27 M1A2s. So they're fully equipped, though, so they've got every type of munition on those tanks there. So 12 AP rounds. And then we've got 12 Bradleys. What I'm concerned about with the Bradleys is they have the tow launcher, and the tow launcher can fire 2 rounds, whereas the BMP only has 1 round for the tube. So I'm curious to know if that's been balanced out, or do Blue 4 just have a two-toe advantage over Op 4 with the single one? Otherwise, let's see. 2 unarmed M113s, and then 2 sets of triple R, and then 9 transport MRAPs. Op 4, meanwhile, Spetsnaz kits, AK-74s, PP-2000s. That's 9 mil versus 5.7. I mean, 5.7's gonna beat that every time. RPG-32s for Echo. I don't see a static listed here, but I'm assuming they're gonna get Cormant, but we'll just have to check that back later. 9 transport gases, 12 BMP-2D, so that's the more, it's the up-armored variant, but it can't be amphibious. And then, yeah, it has the single-round ATGM. And then you got 2017 90s, which, I mean, they do have ATGM rounds, and then 8 AP rounds. I don't know if they rebalanced the weapon balance between both sides, but, I mean, that is there. Then you got VDV radio vehicles, 2 sets of triple R for everybody, and then 6 transport gases. But right off the bat, I mean, if we're talking about equipment advantages, I would say I can't really weigh in if the tow launcher is better than the Cormant. I would say that's just a matter of opinion. But the Bradley's having 2 tows that fire at once versus the BMPs, which only have 1 Metis launch per reload. I think I'd give a bit of an advantage to Blue 4 on that front. Hey, if everyone bets Blue 4 and no one bets Op 4 and you bet 10 points on Op 4, you win all the points by default. So, you know, PS3 graphics is real? Yeah. But I can have 90 players on this server easy, which is how much we have tonight. And it looks like they're starting to deploy. So Blue 4 are the only ones allowed in that area, Op 4 the only ones allowed in that area, and then the rest is this neutral zone. So it's going to take them a hot second to deploy all their forces here. Tow is definitely better, but the BMP has a larger and faster autocannon. Yeah, but I'm going to be honest, that autocannon's going to be minuscule compared to what... Well... Here's what I'm thinking. The autocannon is more useful if you're going to use the AP rounds to mag dump the turret chassis on an Abrams or a Bradley to disable it. I could see it being more advantageous to knock the vehicle out.
No safe zone notifications ATM as I messed something up for spectators. Safe zones have dropped.
I figured that, Mal, when I saw the vehicles blitzing out. Thanks for the 76-month resub, buddy. And ProLabs, thanks for the 22-month resub. But pew, 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 indeed. Hope you all keep enjoying the operations. Hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. And I hope you all had happy holidays. So we already see a bout of triple R heading south here. And then both sides do have drone warfare as well. So we'll see how that factors in. It could be the 113s are the drone carriers, and then the Op 4 ones are the radio vehicles, but
send and go team.
We'll just have to see how that plays. We got another bridge on the northern side.
Last week, as I was watching old VODs to calm my addiction to Armashena Kitten, I somehow ended up on Excel's channel. These were wild times.
It said Shenan Kitten. No, it said Shenan Kitten. Probably because NIG it's censored. That's cute. God, I love our Twitch overlords. Anyway. So we already got some gases moving out of it. Those freaking tanks are super loud, though, compared to the damn cars you have down here. Good God. You got a Bionicle last night? Holy shit, Earth Knight. That's like a unicorn. God, I haven't seen Bionicles in forever. I had a bunch as a kid. I don't know what was more fun, though, assembling them as action figures or using all the cool little pieces as little spaceships and having my own wars. That was... Damn. That's a memory and a half right there. Good for you, man. Yeah, no, I agree. So 1v1, in most situations I've seen, a Bradley outperforms a BMP. However, with the ordnance that we have on the T90s versus the Abrams, I know Abrams are a little tankier in RHS compared to T90s, but we might see the difference with that set of ordnance here, so we'll just have to see how things go. Most of Gen 1 down in the cellar? Hell yeah, Shade. My god. I completely forgot Bionicles existed. Blowin just yelled, "You said Bionicles?" Yeah, we're talking about Bionicles on stream, honey. There was a show, there was a video game, there were movies, everything. God, memory unlocked. Alright, anyway, Blue 4 is starting to get a majority of their forces in the AO. Looks like they're starting to barrel down to Sector 5. Op 4 still deploying a lot of their forces in the back line over here. I think Blue 4, they're going to get their teeth into the sector first. I'm a little concerned with what we have rushing down here. This is one of the MRZRs. And they're just going to be moving out immediately. We'll have to see how effective those AT Crocus drones are against both T-90s and Abrams at this point. First one last night on YouTube, it's free, and there's like a second, third, and fourth movie. Yeah, good God. Childhood memories unlocked, man. So we got Op 4 moving around the northern side with a scouting vehicle, maybe to set up a drone or an AT position to overwatch. I think they think that they can get some good coverage from this hilltop. I'm going to be honest, it's actually a really good hilltop to set up an ATGM launcher. They have a 3-kilometer range. So that would mean that the tanks over here are in range. I mean, that would be a really great place to snipe from. And you see that these guys are going to start moving up the hill here. So yeah, no, like that hilltop is going to be really good to control. I think the one concern I have, though, is the rate of fire of an ATGM launcher. If they're fighting a platoon of tanks, I'm going to be honest with you, they're not going to be able to kill that platoon of tanks before the tanks turn, notice them with thermals, and just snipe the shit out of the turret. So, especially since those launchers only have 4 rounds for the Cormet or 4 rounds for the tow, their best bet, I'm going to be honest, is to either try to snipe individual vehicles or snipe, like, lighter vehicles or maybe drone teams, because they'd have to hit the vehicles in the engine component to really disable them, but then the gun's still going to be active. They can just turn and engage them. There's nothing they can do about it. There was things that went boom on one side for one of the teams. That's funny. Nemesis probably hard at work. Yeah, okay, so, looks like Blue 4 had an oopsie with one of their vehicles clipping on one of their MRAPs and another... Oh, okay, I see what happened. So we had some not transport, those are some of their triple R vehicles ram into each other, because of course we did. People can't keep the damn vehicles in their pants. But that hasn't really slowed down a majority of Blue Force assets, so I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. But we still have a big chunk of Blue 4 vehicles encroaching into this area. Oh, wow. So one of the sectors is right in Urbania over here. This is just going to be a little World of Tanks action in the middle. Good God. Blue 4, though, they've already rushed over. I'm curious to see where they might try to set up ATGM launchers, like on the rooftops over here. That's not bad, but, I mean, it keeps their flank pretty heavily exposed. Meanwhile, you do have Op 4 coming around. I think they're going to try to set up a triple R position in this bunker system. That's not a bad idea, though. But again, they're going to need some perimeter security on it in order to guarantee it. But yeah, no, you've got a massive wave of armor now coming along the southern side. So Op 4 rushing a tank over to take this first sector. It's going to take 120 seconds to take it. But Op 4 is meaning business here. A big chunk of their stuff is coming in over here. So Op 4's plan right now is basically set up an ATGM position or two. We also have a tank on this far side, probably to act as another ATGM launcher with its limited ammo. They want to lock down these open fields and then just hold the southern side. Blue 4, meanwhile, we've got 2 tanks in Sector 5, but the rest of their armor is still deploying. So we've got Sector 5 and Sector 6 captured roughly at the... Okay, no. I don't know why it had 2 pop-ups for that with unknown sector there, but that's already caching points. Yep, that is a point a second there. So we'll see the Op 4 one tick soon, but with Op 4 coming up close, they're going to be able to take that sector next. However, Blue 4 might be able to set up a little bit of defensiveness down here. This Echo team setting up on the rooftop up here, I'm going to be honest, that's probably going to get sniped early on. This is FNF. on a Saturday, you know? We see another ATGM that could get set up here, though. That could stall a little bit of the armor, but it's not going to stall much. Plus, we already have some elements of other ATGM teams coming in, though that Gaz is going to be heard by this team. It has to be. And a Gaz is very, very identifiable. So you got one guy coming out to this outer stairwell. That group might end up driving up to the... no, they're not going to drive all the way up to them. But we got some interdiction of teams here. So there's Sector 2 captured. That's going to start ticking up points here. About a 60-point difference, but Op4, I would say, are in a better position to take Sector 3 here. And then they're going to quickly get the point advantage. Blue 4, meanwhile, looking at some of their defensive plays here. They're just kind of focusing on northern defense right now, trying to stop any Op4 incursion from the bridge up north. Because, I mean, this waterway really does create some natural choke points here. So the only way in is through that bridge. But, I mean, that's why Op4 is just going to focus all their stuff on the southern side here. Yeah, and then you got a bridge right there. So there's only 2 ways past the river here before we go on the southern side and get a lot more bridges. But the sector, that kind of opens it up a little more for Op4. So that's why they've set up this, like, massive turtle right here to basically hold this open area to prevent Blue 4 from going into that side. Blue 4, meanwhile, holding that northern bridge to prevent Op4 from going on that side. But I think Blue 4... I don't know, we got 2 tanks and 2 tanks. That's even on... gosh, what the... I guess the tonnage, for lack of a better term. But we already have Op4 vehicles in the zone here. And one's about to enter the sector and start capping it. So I guess I'm waiting to see, are we going to start seeing drones flying in play? And how effective are they going to be on these armored assets? I'm going to be honest, I'm not expecting a drone to outright kill a tank or an IFE, probably disable it more than anything. We see Sector 3 now being taken by the tank on the edge of the sector. Blue 4 maneuvering 3 tanks in. Op 4, we've got additional tanks, but they're heading south. And then we got another one that's turned around and is now heading north with another tank. So a lot more Op 4 armor coming into the zone compared to Blue 4. And Blue 4, we have another tank coming in, but it's a bit slow. So it's just going to be a question of where are we going to see these additional assets? Then we've got the Op 4 team over here that's deployed. What are they? Looks like they're a drone team of some type. Nemesis is dead. I think they ran him over. So again, this is a 3-life operation, and not good to see one of the early logistic guys already get taken out, but, you know, c'est la vie. I'm curious if this Blue 4 team's going to try to set up an ATGM. I don't think it has the angle depression, though, to hit that tank. So they could run all the way down, deploy the launcher right here, and hit it. But for now, I think they're just waiting on standby to see if they can take the sector. Sector almost fully taken. It's going to be another 20 seconds, but we see the Abrams are setting up defensive posturing outside of the AO here. So I'd say Op 4 are in a really good spot right now. Blue 4, they're being a lot more defensive. We're seeing a bit of a battle line set up with 3 Abrams here, but we've got a lot of Op 4 tanks that are trying to move into this sector. There's that sector captured. And then you've got this tank all the way back here, I guess, trying to set up a defensive against hillsides on the south. That doesn't make a lot of sense, admittedly, but let's see who gets aggressive first, because if Op 4 just gets a bit more time, they'll be able to bring a lot more armor in from the south, but right now they're just kind of holding on reserve, and I think that's because they just don't know where Blue 4's armored assets are. But it's keeping a very weak spearhead forward. But at the same time, Op 4 can just afford to park their tanks and then let the Blue 4 tanks come to them and then follow the engine sounds to get a first hit advantage. But we still have some Echo groups here. Still haven't deployed any tripods, but I mean, if they were all looking around, they might be able to find some additional forces to hit. 1390 coming into the zone now. I just love how you have this Blue 4 group right here. I think they noticed Op 4. Oh, they started picking off. No, this is some of the drones being deployed. Yeah, so they know that there's something up here, and I think they're trying to route all their forces around. I would be honest. Yeah, if I was in Blue 4 shoes, I would radio this position up and have a drone take it out rather than give away my own position. But that's just me. All right, T90 and Abrams just dueled and exchanged 2 rounds with each other. Abrams just fired again. And that shot whiffed. But we already see the points coming in. So Blue 4 at 390. We have another Abrams coming down the middle here. They're going to get stuck on this choke point, though. And I'm curious to see if any of the ATGMs are going to start trying to pick it off from afar, because that's what Op 4 is trying to do on the northern side. They're just trying to set up a massive turtle. Is Molly playing? I don't believe so. It's just Dream with Yanni and a tank over here. All right, so we have a tow launcher set up, and they're trying to find an angle to hit this vehicle. They raise the tripod a little bit. They've got a great shot if someone realizes they have a great shot. I don't see a tube loaded in it, though. Does it have ammo? Through the trees, that's going to be tough. I wouldn't risk it, because once you fire, you're giving yourself away. Meanwhile, these guys just opted to fire. And they just took out a majority of the infantry up here. No, 2 of them dismounted and started moving away, so now they're going to start pushing to take out that last guy. We do have a friendly tank nearby, though. But yeah, I'm surprised we're also not seeing some coverage over on this side over here to watch that route. But now you got that tank watching the southern side here. But Blue 4 is going to have to be aggressive on one of these 2 zones and take it. Otherwise, Op 4 is going to win this the entire time. ATGM goes in. That was a hit to the middle left, just short of where they needed to hit the rear of the tank in order to disable it. So you can see where the plate absorbed the round. So very close. But I'd imagine it's tough to get an angled shot on there because of all those trees in the way. So they're immediately bipoding. They might try to move. I'm going to be honest, the only thing that can really coordinate where they are, though, would be a drone. And I'm going to... Doubling down on that, if a drone spotted them, they would have already gotten taken out because that drone would have just rammed into them and killed them all, you know? So now you got this tank watching that side right there. Saffrog here is just trying to camp right here, throwing some grenades out in a panic. And we see another... you see where he's already thrown a grenade previously, so he makes another crater. I'm like 90% sure in reality that would have gone through. Yeah, but this is Arma, and you have to remember RHS is made purely on the statistics that Red Hammer Studios gets, which is reported officially by the government, which may or may not be 100% accurate. I can already tell you, based off of what's happened in Ukraine, some of the stuff that the Russian tanks are quote-unquote capable of doing on paper is not what they would do in the real world. That's just how it is. We just had that bus stop shot at. I think they might have been going for this building with the garrison back here, but it's tough to say. They definitely did not angle that shot properly. Now you got a Blue 4 tank trying to enter the zone, and if another tank enters it, it'll start taking that zone. So they're parked in there. Excuse me. All right, so we see that the Zone 3 is starting to get taken. It'll go to neutral if it's a 1 tank to 1 tank ratio in there. We see that another tank is starting to shell the top of this building. Scorpio got knocked out. They just tried to fire an HE round, and they immediately hit a tree in front of them, and it self-detonated. Literally the first tree in the way. How about that? Now you got this AT team starting to come around. I think they're trying to flank this group over here. However, they're moving right in front of where this tank is. And we'll see if this tank notices them running through. Henry was able to get through okay. Earth, yes and no, but that is a discussion for another day. Like when we're doing mission dev late tonight or tomorrow, I'm more than happy to talk about what I know is going on over there, but it's interesting. So we have a Bradley that's come around. You have another Abrams coming around. They just spotted that T-90. Now the T-90's on the move. However, as soon as they come out, that Bradley might notice them and put some tow launchers on him. The Bradley's blind. Hold up. Here we go. Towing. That's a hit. Second one comes in. And that tank is disabled. It's probably going to cook off since we saw the crew immediately bail. So that's one tank down for Op 4. And Sector 3 is about to go to neutral. Give it a second. There it is. Blows off some of the glass. Whenever you see crewmen instantly bail out of a tank, it usually means that it's going to cook off. And we just saw HE rounds come in and completely annihilate the rest of the Blue 4 group that was in here. Hold on. So if I click on his body and we look at his teammates, yeah, we can see that lower down, they basically got sniped out of the building. So great gunnery from Bravo 3 over there. And I'd imagine Yanni spotted those infantry moving around, so he's getting to a safer area. And if we look at Reinhardt, he has those 2 kills because he's in the commander seat. Alright, so Blue 4 losing an Echo team, Op 4 losing a tank, but both sides have a good amount of tanks here. We just had armor. That... that was the BMP up here. Yep, and we see the Metis launcher moving, so it means it's moving in to be reloaded. So Metis just sniped the crew out of an Abrams. That is amazing, actually. Yeah, Newton, Toxic, and Diego just got killed in an Abrams because of Metis. It penetrated and detonated inside, killing the crew. I've never seen a Metis do that. Usually the Abrams just shrugs the round off, but all right. Never mind. Here's my slight concern, though. Why does Op 4 have Cormit crews when the BMPs literally function as a Metis? You know what I mean? Like, or a Cormit. You know, any type of ACGM tripod launcher. Because it has the same amount of ammo, and then you have more mobility with the BMP's tracks, and then you also have the autocannon as a last resort. I guess for stealth or lower profile, but even then, I feel like the BMP, especially if you can get an angle to, you know, snipe the crew out of an Abrams, I feel like that's better. All right, so Blue 4 have now taken the southern sector because of the 2-to-1 ratio of the armor in there. You've got the Abrams trying to fire at some of these infantry that are pulling back because they were part of that 4-man crew. One of them got engaged, but he's now moving around trying to find them. And then we've got tanks moving around trying to find these infantry, but they're staying low. I don't know. Oh, they tried to set up their tow launcher, but it got armored because they set it up on a tree. They're going to probably have to call the admin about that. So they lose the opportunity to snipe one of the tanks there. But now we've got this sector blue, and if they can get it above 300, then that'll shift the tides back into Blue 4's favor for the game. Gonna be honest though, if we start seeing the tanks working together in pairs of 2, I think they'll be fine. But now we see them basically hitting this derelict tank there just to double tap and make sure it's down. More AP rounds going in. They don't have to destroy it, they can just leave it and move on. Otherwise, they're just wasting the, you know, precious ammo that they have. Plus, they're giving themselves away with those loud shots. Meanwhile, on the northern side, Op 4 is still going to hold. Blue 4 holding with 3 vehicles on the north. We've got some other Overwatch elements here. I'm curious to see if we have any drones actually flying around yet. What we can do is we can select the player and then check the map. And then that will show us on the map if they have any drones out and about. But I don't see any. Not yet, at least. Tank's got to be careful about overpressure and whatnot, but looks like they just came out and got a quick shot on Maxic. And they're outmaneuvering away. Turret isn't moving. They might have just gotten a lucky hit on that Abrams to disable that turret. But if he leaves the sector, it's going to start getting taken by Op4 immediately. And oh, no, there it is. It's starting to move down now because this tank's one job is to literally just stay at the corner of the sector and take it back. What's with all these Vics being on their own all the time? Good question. I think it's easier for a lone ATGM to potentially find a convoy of Abrams or, you know, T-90s going in rather than these forces all just kind of moving around and trying to, you know, just pick people off. But I feel like some well-placed tactics would do a lot better. Just heard another ATGM round fire in. It looks like it got absorbed by the trees. That was by the BMP here, so it's going to be down to 2 ATGMs, but we do have Triple R very close by. So Blue 4 going to lose this sector. Now 2 Op4 tanks are in the zone. I'm going to be honest, I think Blue 4 is playing this a little too defensively. Yes, they've got some defensive assets here. So does Op4. We've got 2 tanks versus 2 tanks and an IFV. So, well, plus we have another tank watching here, but then you can argue that that tank's also watching on the southern side. And then Op4 redeploying a BMP and another tank. Blue 4 just trying to move Triple R, but we have a good chunk of infantry back at base. Don't know what that's for. So I have a feeling this is just going to be a really slow game with only, I want to say, 4 or 5 vehicles on both sides contending for Sector 3. That's what I'm calling here. And based off of that alone, I think Op4, funny enough, are going to have the advantage here to win. Just because they're doing a great job, or they were at least doing a great job of keeping one vehicle camped in the corner at all times. Now that there's a second tank in here to support, we do have an Abrams just on the outside trying to watch the MSR, but could it be flanked? Oh, they have him pinned down right there. Yep. Great hit immediately in the rear, disabling the engine. However, it is in the zone. So if one of these vehicles leave and they stay in the crew, they're fine. But let's see if they do a field repair here, or if they just bail out. Because by being in a vehicle, only vehicles can take the sectors, not the infantry. Vehicle cooked off. Took out a building, killed one of the crew as the building collapsed on them. There goes Rambo Bambo. Tank now pushing up. I think Skipper's trying to find his buddy's body to see if he's alive or dead. However, you have the T-90 trying to camp it right there. Yes, they have spare tanks. It's 27 tanks versus 27 tanks, and then 9 IFVs versus 9 IFVs. Yeah, so 27, and then, oh, I'm sorry, 12. And then 27 and 12. So it is a 3-life operation. So if you die, you respawn after, I think, like 30 seconds or a minute. Yeah, where you see one of them running way back. But yeah, no, ops like these, especially with CQC, it heavily favors the defenders because they just have to shut their engine off and wait at choke points and then listen for the enemy's engine, and once they come in, they can just lock down the angle and immediately snipe them. ATGM fires, and it just misses. It looks like that was Bravo Command here trying to snipe with one of its toes. And the objective's been taken back by Op4 yet again. We've got Savrog here running back as a drone operator. Are we finally going to see some drone action here? The funny thing is, we do have a few Blue 4 guys right here. Are they going to notice him? Nope, they're turned away from him. And those, that's a Crocus AT drone, which also works really well against infantry with that large charge. We'll see if he gets that in the air. That can also do some moderate damage to armored assets as well. Slight concern I have now is Skipu trying to climb the tank. He gets noticed. Skipu immediately runs upstairs. Yeah, the issue of a round comes in through that window, Skipu's dead. Oh, I think they just noticed the Bradley instead, and they're engaging that. HE shell just hit the side of the building, but not there. Skipu's using that opportunity to run. Oh, they just got flanked by an Abrams. Keyholing them from the north. So that is a disabled T-90 there, and now we've just got, yep, so the Abram in here is now taking the sector again. Whereas this vehicle's on the outside. You got the infantry, I think, dismount, double tapping any of the crew that come out, even though they're already dead. Skipu, I think, is dead here. Yep. As the coax kind of turns him to Swiss cheese there. So we do have a drone team back here, as well as a Op4 AT team on the rear as well. Bradley here taking fire from a T-90, but the T-90 takes a tow. Second tow goes in, and that crew is toast. Hold on, I think some of the crew's still alive. The driver's up. He's lost his track. The gunner has died, though. We do have a second tank up here. It's just struggling to find where that Bradley's engaging from. It's because the house is in the way. It's blocking the view from the Bradley, because if we look down at this angle... Oh, no, he found the rear of it, but again, Bradley's you want to engage the front side of, not the rear, because the rear is the crew compartment. That round was a bit long there, actually. Now we got the side profile now. Tanks now engaging. Ooh. That went into the engine, but I think he just perfectly got behind the building in time, so they might be able to do a field repair. Respawn time is 300 seconds, aka 5 minutes. Ooh. All right, we got one tank still in the zone, but Blue 4 starting to take this area here. And no points are ticking because this box now needs to fill. It takes, I think, 2 minutes to capture a sector. Well, yeah, with 2 Blue 4 vehicles versus 1 Op 4, they should be able to retake that zone. Op 4 vehicles otherwise are kind of kept down the outskirts, and we'll just have to see how things go. One second. There's another little project I have Valkyrie working on right now. It'll be ready by next weekend. We also moved tomorrow's Paid for Pain to next week as well. I want some more time to dev it. But he just told me, hey, I want a gore mod added. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. No, he's firing at the Abrams right here. And the crew just bailed out. Skip runs in front of the barrel and gets annihilated. Oh, God. All right, that vehicle is, yeah, I was about to say is going to cook off, but it cooks off right before our eyes. Now, I think this sector is going to be stuck because it's one vehicle to one vehicle. And Op 4 right now, yeah, with a 60-point difference between those sectors, we're going to see basically things change around. So we've got Op 4 trying to drive some interdiction vehicles around. So they drove through on that side, came down, drove through that area on this side. So they're setting up an ATGM team somewhere, probably on the MSRs that are outside of Blue 4's movement area, which is fine. Blue 4 still have 2 tanks camping that side. Op 4 have 4 tanks actually all around here. So Blue 4 have more armor to move in with. At least that's how it should be. I feel like Blue 4 also just don't have a lot of armor involved, and that's partially because they've also lost 2 tanks and they're still, the crews are still respawning. My question is, how can the crew disable these tanks? Can they rip the tracks off? That's a grenade. That's not going to do shit to a tank unless that's an explosive. That's a grenade. Yeah, no, Wick, just run up and take the track off. He doesn't need a track. But yeah, no, a fragmentation grenade is going to do jack shit against a tank and its heavy armor plate. Just heard an ATGM launch. That hits a T-90 back here. I can't tell if that was that Bradley. No, we have a tow launcher set up. Back on the rooftop here. Right in this little opening right here. Another ATGM launch. Snipes another tank. All right. I think Wickcourts here is about to bite off a little more than he can chew. I love how it fires with the main barrel. All right, Wickcourts' goal there was to make the tank waste an, one of its main cannon rounds, and it seems to have succeeded. So, funny enough, though, that tank is now the only active one in the sector now, and it can start retaking that AO. Is the PP-2000? Is he trying to shoot out the guys up here? Because that's what it looked like. Ain't that funny? Ah, I was waiting for that crash. God damn it. 1 second. So, unfortunately, there is a bug with RHS vehicles, mainly trucks and tanks, where it can cause a status access violation and crash out your game. I had a feeling once I noticed that it was tank versus tank, we'd probably run into something like that. But, yeah, well, we lasted, what, 30 minutes? So we'll probably run into that 1 or 2 more times. Ugh, oh well. I'm waiting to see the drones start flying around. I haven't really seen any yet. Oh, man. Anyway, how's everyone's final weekend going before the new year? Hope you're all having some happy holidays. Hope everything's going okay for you, and if it's not, well, I hope it gets better. Drones have been going, just not very efficiently. Fair. I'm going to be honest, it does take a bit of a learning curve on the Crocus drones. I remember the first time we started using them in our, like, Ukraine training angle, like, what, 6-9 months ago? It was a pain in the ass. Had your birthday yesterday? Nice. Happy birthday, Sib. And now I just wait for Armor to reboot. Having to deal with family for 5 days straight was a pain. Yeah, I can imagine. Stephonics, you crashed too? Yeah. It happens. We're just waiting for Armor to reboot at this point. Which, I don't know what happened. I think it started like a few days before I took my break, you know, for the week. But my boot time just got super slow again, so... Oh well. We just have to wait and see. Alright, let me just click anything. At this point, I'm not going to tab out and hide things, because it's going to keep happening, because it's just... it's bound to happen. How full is my internal drive? It is pretty full. Because editing's a pain in the butt. So if I probably emptied it out a bit and defragmented it, it would probably go a little quicker, wouldn't it? Oh, there's just so many fun games for us to play. Isn't it great when you open up with some machine gun fire? All right, looking back into the sector. Sector 3 is slowly getting ticked down as we have a tank out here still taking things. We have, I think this is a T-90 still cooking from that previous engagement with a Bradley. And you can hear Abrams on the outskirts. If a castle gets armored, please report it. Yep, that's fair. Alright, so we had an Abrams fighting with an ATGM crew. Looks like the ATGM crew attempted to eliminate an Abrams, and the Abrams, well, responded in kind. Meanwhile, looking at the northern side here, what do we have? We've got an MRAP coming up with a, that's a Moz team. And it looks like they're just kind of poking around. And then we also have a few OP4 members out here. Looks like they came up and sniped them Abrams on the rear. Hades hiding in the cornfield. So where an Abrams survives, another one gets taken out. We're at 1,800 points on both the northern sectors. Southern sector, we have OP4 slowly retaking it, but they're still about 150 points above. However, we do have an Abrams coming up. However, the tank, the T-90, spotted it and started engaging. The gun is down. They get another hit. And Maxic desperately trying to run up and hit the vehicle as we have the tank being run down, and they're bailed out. So that vehicle's going to cook off. Hopefully the T-90 doesn't get too close, so it doesn't cook off the T-90 as well. Maxic trying to run up and shoot out the optics on the tank. That's not a bad idea. See the spent shell casings going out for the tank. Now Dobbs driving away. We're about, I want to say 45 seconds away from the sector being taken again. Alright, they just left the sector, and it looks like they're trying to slowly get back in. They were just baiting Maxic, and yeah, now he's dead. Still got to get back into the sector, though. We got some flashing over here, as it looks like one member of OP4 just came up and eliminated... No, okay, so he was with another guy. Oh, but they just came up and eliminated a bunch of the Blue 4 guys up here. We also see an OP4 guy with a Blue 4 M4. Oh, hold on. Salt wakes back up and goes back to bed. Henry else needs to be double tapped. Now OP4 can utilize this launcher, and we see that Sector 3 is taken again, and it's going to start upticking for OP4 once more. Meanwhile, we got some fighting on the outskirts here. Nick here just fired an ATGM. Looks like he was aiming at the Abrams, but the Abrams has no idea where they were just engaged from. Now we see the autocannon being used to disable the Abrams turret. So now we're just waiting for that Metis to reload. And she's almost ready. This is just a really tough angle to hit the Abrams at because the engine is mostly protected. Looks like turret got repaired. I guess it wasn't fully disabled, but now the tank's just spinning around trying to find where they're being engaged from. Metis round goes in again. Smoke round's getting deployed. Tough angle to engage that Abrams from, but at least it's keeping it pinned down so it can't harass the central sector here. Meanwhile, Dobbs looks like he's pulling back probably to get triple R. Blue 4 not pushing any vehicles in the zone. They're a bit scared at the moment. We only have this Bradley on the outskirts here. Meanwhile, Blue 4 looks like they try to push in, and they were engaged and taken out as they tried to cross. Now you got some tanks coming around this side trying to figure out where they are. Meanwhile, we have another AT team over here. This is Iander coming up. He's got that RPG-32. They're going to try to get a snipe on this Abrams. They got a great hit. We see that there is some damage on the Abrams, but it wasn't enough. They're going to have to get a follow-on hit, but that's also going to make it easier for a T-90 to disable it. No, it cooked off. All right. I think they made all of the AT a lot stronger against the tanks with their own custom mods because, I mean, I've been seeing Metis's one-tapping tanks, for example, and that's usually incredibly rare for RHS, but I imagine they probably changed some of the armor values around. All right, so one Abrams down, another Abrams. We have a person dead over here. Autocannon rounds coming in. Diego just leaves them out, and yeah, this vehicle's pretty much stuck in the water. Trying to see if we can see any example of damage here, but looks like we are unable to. But yeah, Blue 4, their wave of armor coming in to reinforce is now gone. Op 4, we see that, yep, this vehicle went back to basically get some triple R here. And at that point, I gotta wonder what Op 4's next move is, whether or not they're going to use the armor here that they used to basically surround and eliminate that group and try to go for that other sector, or if they're going to keep playing defense on this one zone. Because there will eventually be a point of no return where Blue 4 isn't going to be able to win. And let's see, we're at 1:03 time from save start, so that has to get up to the 1:20 mark on the bottom left. So I gotta do math here to figure out at what point, when does this number get high enough, and that's subtracted from the 80-point difference here, which is gonna come out of that sector. Put in simpler terms, hypothetically, just to throw a number out there, we've got an hour 15. This is me not throwing that number out there, though. There's an hour 15 left on this round. Without considering everything else, just this is me throwing the number out there now. Hour 15 divided in half, that would be, what, 75 minutes divided by 2, so that's what, let's say 35 minutes, give or take. If Op 4 controlled this zone for 36 minutes, unmolested, they're going to win by default, because the only way Blue 4 would then be able to win is to go and rush the other sector. Now, we do have that Bradley. It's starting to come into the zone. It's been halfway ticked. So this is going to now shift back into Blue 4's favor here, which in turn is really just going to extend the game. But Op 4 are kind of doing some triple R here to then move their stuff up. And this BMP is still harassing this tank with its autocannon. At this point, yeah, just bring the MAT team over and have them finish it. We did just see a wild tank round fire. Angel, you have sushi, alcohol, and FNF. That is a lovely combo. What, sake or something else? Alright. And that sector goes blue. Now we're going to start seeing... No, they still, I think, have to capture it on the top right. That's going to be another 2 minutes. And then the difference here, what's 527 minus 128? That's roughly 400 minus 1, so 399. It's going to be about 7 minutes of sector control before that Blue 4 number gets higher, minus the 80, which is the difference between these two other sectors. So they'd only need to hold that for about 5.5 minutes before they would start having more points than Op 4. So Blue 4 can still turn this around because Op 4 basically pulled all their forces back to do triple R, and the rest of their forces are just kind of out and about. They're not really holding central sector security. So I think these guys are going to run down and get the easy snipe on that Abrams. Japanese peach vodka? That sounds great, man. But yeah, I'd imagine both sides are reinserting vehicles. Blue 4 more than Op 4, though. We got 2 Abrams coming out of the gate. We've got a third Abrams that just entered the AO. Op 4, meanwhile, we've got 1 tank that is getting ready, 1 other tank that's about halfway into the AO. We got a BMP and a Gaz also coming in from their spawn. So, I mean, this round could really still shift either way. We're going to start seeing some infantry harassment on this sector. Maybe we'll then see an Op 4 push to try to take that sector. But if Op 4 can start harassing Sector 5 and actually stop the flow of points to Blue 4, and we still see, like, you know, things going tug-of-war on that southern zone, I don't see how Blue 4 can win this one. Genuinely. Alright, so now that sector's been captured to Blue 4, so that's going to start ticking up in points. We might see some of these vehicles scramble to come over, but now you've got, you know, this ticking up from 131 or something. Now it's at 140 again, point a second. Going to be about 5 minutes before they get ahead, but next point of concern here is the fact that we do have, you know, some AT teams around, and there was an Abrams out here that did get sniped earlier. And you got to remember, it's a 3-life op. People do have limited assets here, so at what point, probably within the last 30, 20 minutes, are we going to start seeing some real attrition go down? And, you know, who's been losing more assets? I'm going to be honest, it seemed pretty even on that asset loss, but let's do a quick head count here. Just in stuff that's stored back at base. So, 7. I'm counting tanks only right now. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15 tanks in storage for Blue 4. Op 4, how many tanks do we have stored? 4, 9, 15. So it's even. It's pretty much even right now in terms of the armor count. And let's see, 15 to 27 with nearly an hour gone. I don't think they're going to be running out of tanks. I think they're going to be running out of infantry crews first. Look at this Blue 4. They set up a good chunk of defense. We got some AT guys in the middle as well. Gonna be honest, I think Ma's guys running around this sector ready to snipe tanks. I think that's going to be the most dangerous thing for Op 4 armor. But speaking of, we got Dobbs and Burton. They've triple R'd. We're at 7 infantry and 2 armor kills for this team right now, and they have not died yet. So they're definitely, I would say, the top team to beat right now. But they've got a lot of infantry in here, and they got a Bradley to fight with. Bradley is a pretty easy snipe. They're probably going to drive right up to it. We'll see if the Bradley turns its toe and immediately snipes them. But they've got their own engine on, so they're not going to hear that tank coming. And you got this guy just patrolling. Bradley now moving forward. Tank spots the Bradley and engages. However, it didn't disable the turret. That pens. Oh, but the toe's still online. And it cooks off. The driver is unconscious. And it cooks because of the toe. So they got a little too cocky there. They just drove up and stopped moving. They let the toe basically turn on them. If they hit it and then immediately went to cover, they would have been fine. But the fact that they've gotten so many kills, I think, really slowed them down because they were really cautious for the first 50 minutes of this game. So that is going to further slow down Op 4's ability to take that area. We see some double tapping on the bodies here. We still have this one Abrams pinned down right here. I think this AT crew is just going to come around on him. But yeah, I'd say the rest of the armor assets for Op 4 need to start coming in and actually trying to take that sector because they're going to start losing that number advantage. That's going to go away in about 3 minutes. Blue 4 having more armor coming in as well as reinforcements. And we've got another Abrams. I think that's the same one just patrolling around that sector. Op 4, though, we've got 2 tanks lined up right here. I think they're waiting to see if these AT crews can take out all the armor in that sector. Then we might see a rush of these armored assets coming in to try to take that sector. So Blue 4 under a lot of threat there. They might get cocky and put all their stuff onto Sector 3. And we could see Op 4 go around and try to steal Sector 5. Yeah, so these guys about to snipe this one Abrams here. Got shot by a tank shell. Must have been the wind. You'd be surprised. I've seen crazier stuff in this freaking game. All right, Iender, easy shot. And this tank does not know what hit him. Fireball. I think that's what's about to become of this tank, though. Here's my question. How much AT do they have left? Because that also kind of looked like an HE detonation. Not necessarily an AT one, but, okay. You're kidding, right? What are these chuckleheads doing? Bro, there's a tank right there! What? What are you doing? Must have been the wind. Diego gets out. I think he's been doing like field repairs or something. I don't really know, but that... Are they still detract, though? Yeah, they popped red smoke on it. Maybe the tank will now take notice. Oh my god, guys. There we go. The old switcheroo. Yeah, the coax. Hit it again. Yeah, let's avoid overpressure on that barrel. There we go. That is crew dead, but they don't know that, so we'll probably see another shot or two go in. Meanwhile, looking back in the center AO here, Op 4, we have another tank coming up, but we've got a lot of Blue 4 infantry around. Could have AT, could have drones. Daedalus trying to get that marked for his buddies. Looking on the northern side, we do see a tank encroachment over here. Looking right there, we also have the Abrams in play. So, again, we're going to see an Op 4 push to that zone soon. Just don't know when exactly. Tank was cooked off, and that vehicle's good to go. Daedalus shooting his suppressed gun at the tank. Maybe to try to disable some of the optics. We've got some long-range machine gun fire from Bravo 1. That is another tank that is trying to pick off some of the infantry. But now we've got this one T-90 moving in to try to take the sector. By the way, they are now ahead Blue 4 for Op 4 on that sector. So the only way Op 4 can bounce back is if they either take this sector or if they go around they touch that one. Then we're going to have to do some serious math to see who wins. Alright, we just saw Blue 4 lose 2 guys. We have some Spec Op teams now moving in to try to clean up some of the Blue 4 infantry. Look at this convoy of vehicles. That is 2 Abrams and a Bradley that are going to start coming into the AO. Yanni's tank is still over here. Let's see if they can cut off some of that Blue 4 relief convoy coming in. Still waiting to see movement up here. We do have another Abrams coming around. We do have... I'd imagine Fren is flying drones. I don't see any drone symbols on the map, though. Like Malin said earlier, coming in here, there was a bit of a learning curve for these drones, so we'll just have to see if they gain any effectiveness here. T-90's commander turret still harassing some of the infantry up here. And we still have Wise just on the outside of the AO here. Kevin trying to rush in. He does have an M72. And he's got a great shot on the rear. But he opts not to use his M72. So this is giving Op 4 some time to now take the sector back. Because we don't see any reaction. Alright, we got a pair of tanks here. What's probably going to happen is Yanni's going to get a hit on this Abrams, take it out, then this Abrams is going to come around to probably take out the T-90. That's what I would call right now. Grenade launchers do something to the rear? No, because the armored plating on the tank would deflect the Grenadier rounds, even if it was like HEDP, which has some penetration value. It's not enough to... Or he's just going to drive right in front. Bro's napping. An immediate shot on the rear. You never put your ass to the MSR. It's another hit. Somehow on her engine side she's holding. And Dream's trying to panically repair. I think it's gonna cook off. How about that? That tank left the sector, though. You can see that it got partially taken, though. Now it's holding. And that tank finally cooks off. So Blue Force still aggressively holding the center. Op 4, we have another tank now maneuvering. And this 3-man team still marauding around this side. I don't know. I mean, that tank's going to go in there and start, you know, counting that back down to add time to Op 4 being able to take it. Yep, so this going back up now. I don't know why Wise didn't stay in the zone here. Excuse me, Wayne. I guess his crew just didn't feel comfortable holding that on his own. But another thing I'm noticing here is Op 4, even though they have the early on advantage, they're falling for the Overwatch fallacy. Overwatch fallacy, for those of you that are new, are when you have a lot of assets on Overwatch elements but are not actually partaking in the AO. That way, that's allowing your opponent to just maneuver forces right into the AO and keep on the objective. Basically, the idea is they think on an overwatching area, they're able to get a lot of kills and prevent Blue 4 and their opponents, in this case Blue 4, from getting in the zone, when in actuality, you see these forces up here, they've been up here the entire time, and Blue 4 just brought in, you know, additional assets to this AO, and there's no... They weren't even fired at. Happens with infantry, happens with vehicles. And if the drones were being utilized a bit better, I mean, these guys would be getting sniped. Looks like they all stopped to try to, excuse me, snipe Fren out. But based off the fact that Leonard was reloading, they missed the shot. Spooked Fren, and now Fren's driving off. Now, where's Fren going? I have no idea. I also don't think they should be wasting their Moz rounds on a random Gaz. If they really wanted to chase it down, they could just, you know, mount up, cross the bridge, and then run it down, but... I feel like it would be better if the Moz rounds were, you know, spent on the tanks instead. What is kind of concerning me here is Fren's now coming back around on this side. Like, I don't... Is Fren bait? Well, Fren's now dead, so it doesn't really matter. It's just... It's always confusing when I see someone take AT fire, drive away, and then drive back, and then proceed to die from the thing that they were running from. That one always confuses me. Alright, so now we have an Op 4 tank in the zone, but we have a Blue 4 tank in the zone as well, so that's going to keep the AO at a standstill. We have an MRZR coming around, but it looks like it's blitzing out of the AO. Might try to hunt the logistics of Op 4, or try to go on the hilltop and snipe some of their vehicles. Kevin does not... Wait, no, Kevin does have a... Kevin. The answer is closer than you think, buddy. It's much closer than you think. Damn, guys, if only Kevin had some sort of anti-tank device. You know, like something to use against tanks. If only. God, maybe Kevin would have had a better chance if he had some sort of AT device. Ah, damn, if only Kevin was better equipped, right? If his tube was spent, here's the funny thing about Arma 3. When you fire off a single-shot weapon, Arma automatically ejects it from your inventory. You auto-drop it. Plus, if it was empty, it has a different texture, and that texture would show an empty tube. Because there's nothing no longer in the tube. I don't know about you, but that, seems there's something in that tube, you know? Best case is he forgot he had it. I would put money on that, but it's still funny to look at the situational irony there. Maybe you thought it was a Pringles can. Bro, I would totally do that. Clear out that silly missile, just fill it with Pringles. Do you have any idea how boring warfare can be? You'll be sitting around in a frickin' fob for days on end. Fill it with Pringles. Going with the Pringle can theory? I'm going with the Pringle can theory, too. Wow. Where will you be when the Ninja Abrams strikes? Cancer inbound, Jesus. I'm sorry, did the commander gun just penetrate into the Abrams? The commander gun just shot through the sight. Look at this. And he killed the guy looking through the sight. They shot through the sight and they killed the gunner of the tank. I've never seen a machine gun do that. In over 8 years of streaming this game, I've never known that that was possible. Because let me look real quick. The commander turret's 12.7, right? No, that's the BMP. No, that's 7.62. Okay, you can pen Abrams sights with 7.62 machine guns and kill the gunner. Okay. Lesson learned. That's a new one. Alright, so now you got vehicles coming off of Overwatch to try to get to this sector. I just realized the points have stopped being capped. So Blue 4 needs to get into here and then keep capping that area. 40k Orc Magic. You know, I believe it. I would believe it, man. That's funny. Alright, looking on the northern side, looks like we got blue, 2 Op 4 tanks posturing. We got multiple Blue 4 tanks still posturing around as well. So Blue 4 just aren't sending the vehicle assets to hit this zone. Meanwhile, Op 4 have a lot more around it. And they're just taking a defensive zone. They're trying to be a little more aggressive with this area here. I wonder, though, are we going to see some shots on these Abrams here? We also see some tank shots coming into this area as well. This would be a great angle for Anderson to potentially snipe that Abrams. Abrams from Temu, yeah, right? Jesus. It's funny, though. Alright, let's see. This is going to be a 308-meter shot, but there is a little bit of a... Great hit. That hit the top of the turret, though. Turret might be disabled. I'm going to be honest. I can't tell if that was hit. That was a miss. I'll give you a hint. If it's coming towards you, just wait for it to stop when it comes closer to you, and then you're good. Alright. Easy engine shot. Come on, Anderson. That is 200 meters away. A little higher. Hit him in the ass. Or at least kill the crewman so he takes like 5 minutes to respawn. Come on. You got it. Excellent. You got it right on the engine block, and you got suppress shots now going on the crewman there. You can see where he hit it. This opened up because he was trying to get into the vehicle. Oh. Excellent. Mr. Anderson. Yeah, I got some tank kill. All right. And now we've got an Op 4 tank entering this zone, and it's going to start taking it. So this is a massive upset. However, we do have 2 Blue 4 tanks moving into the zone. And Op 4 has no rear security on this one tank, except for this other armored asset here, but it's just chilling in the back line. So as soon as that sector starts getting counted down, it pauses the point tally. So every second that Abrams is in there, it is allowing Op 4 to gain more of a lead. Because none of the Blue 4 sectors are tallying right now. Op 4 sector is the only one that hasn't been touched. And I'm going to be honest, by design, I don't really like this AO. Nothing against Eulakia as a map. I love it. I love Icebreaker's work, but the AO choice of this one, I think is a bit impossible for Blue 4 to hit, because you have a choke point here and you have a choke point up there, and then everything else to the south encompasses this AO. So it's really easy for Op4 to hold this zone just by putting an AT team on that bridge and this bridge and calling it a day. And then Op4 can literally just put all their tanks here, whereas Blue 4, in order to defend this zone, they have to watch this concave area, and it takes more reach for them to push teams out to cover this bridge, and especially this bridge. So it's a lot harder for Blue 4 to hold this area compared to Op4 holding that zone, you know what I mean? Is this a tunnel fight? Oh my god, it was a tunnel fight. Damn it, I'm sorry guys, I didn't mean to miss a tunnel fight. Tunnel fights are cool. Wow, they even got the crewman too. Yeah, so that was one of the tanks rushing in from the northern side there. And now you've got some infantry fighting on the top area as well. That's going to start counting the sector back in, though. Blue 4 will start scoring from it again soon. We do have another T-90 coming in as well. Both of these T-90s need to start coming in. However, we do have an Abrams that's come up here. And I think Op4 is going to try to do some reconnaissance on it to try to figure out where that one Abrams is. Oddball just got sniped. You got Company HQ getting sniped off by some of the infantry here. I know, I had one job. I'm horrible. Also, Psycool, how you doing? Always a pleasure to see you, broski. He's a rare sight in my chat, but he's been around for years. So you see that this tank is now trying to snipe the infantry over here. But Blue 4 really quick to pull everything to this zone. We also got some units. That's another thing, too. Blue 4 hasn't set up a triple R position anywhere. Op4, they set up one over here, but Blue 4, you see, if they need triple R, they just drive all the way back to base. So 2 tanks going all the way back to base for servicing. Nekomata, I think he just... Yep, quick shotting some of these. He's going to end up cooking off that tank. But it's that bridge tank that's the real toughie there. And I assume this is going to cook off and explode. 3, 2, 1... blast off. Because it took 2 in the ass. Alright, meanwhile looking, so it looks like Dobbs is now taking Sector 3, and that's going to start... No, it still needs to be fully taken. Okay. That was a notification for Sector 5 to start scoring again. But that gave now a 100... It went from a 80-point to a 150-point lead, so that's good. However, here comes another T-90. Nekomata did a little bit of bandaging to get his buddy up. Maybe just got another rocket or 2 to use against this tank. And we just saw the T-90 duel another Abrams up here, and it looks like the T-90 won. I think they used Green Shade to recon that position out. They found what they were looking for, and then they took it out. Nice. Uh-oh. How did you miss? Other sector now being taken by Op4. Stop playing chicken. Not going to get much help in the bridge. The bridge is kind of barricaded at this point. Okay, both of those tanks are damaged. You have AP rounds and the opportunity to do something really, really cool in here. Bro's got an opportunity. And I think you just got sniped under when the tank moved out. Come on, use the turret. Turret! Turret! Shoot back, you idiot! Thank you! Yeah, now this tank is shooting. So both of these are going to end up exploding here. I love how he's mag dumping right there to make sure he gets the gunner too, because they've realized that that's a weakness. And then Sector 5 got recaptured because there was a tank in the zone. Op 4, meanwhile, Dobbs and Perriton taking that exact same camping spot. Oh, man. Op 4 passing Blue 4 on that side, but let's see. Yeah, 390 to 370. The difference now is right there especially, but we do have a random tank right here getting encroached by a bunch of infantry. We'll do another check back at the 90-minute mark to see how many tanks are back at base and how many are actively being used. Uh-oh. Look at that. Tank front. Engine hit. He just snipes the gunner out without even realizing. That's probably going to cook it off. They might put a second round in it, but now this bridge is barricaded by 2 tank wrecks. So this, not bridge, excuse me, the tunnel. The tunnel is now completely unusable. And that tank is barely in the zone, so that's going to stop it from capping points now. So Op 4 are going to pretty much control all 3 zones now, and I think it's GG. Yep. That's so funny, though, because now you can just, like, put yourself in the tunnel and use the wrecks here as cover from the rear. We do have another Abrams that could come into play, but another T-90 is now moving in. And around here, oh, God. What are you shooting at? What's here? What? Fancy's freaking the hell out, bro. He got into the Panzer chocolate, okay? And he swears to God he's being attacked by German ghosts. The ancestors that, fought his grandpa here. Jesus. It's the Ghost Bradley. Oh, God. Someone save that man. What just cooked off over here? Did an Abrams fight a random texture in the texture 1? Because that's what it looks like. Interesting. I assume Tackleberry's tank sniped them, but they don't... Hold on, they're not listed with any kills. Yeah, only a death. So, I don't know. Maybe Iander sniped it? He does have AT, and he does have a tank kill now, so I'd imagine AT sniped the vehicle. All right, Op 4 now taking that zone and starting to cap it. Abrams coming in, but we've got a lot of people around. Op 4 put no security on that zone all the way over there because they don't need to. And I'd say Blue 4 are pretty boxed in. I'm just going to do... Nah, we'll wait for the... We'll wait another 14 minutes because that'll allow for Blue 4 to get some reinforcing waves in. What are you shooting at? What do you see? Bro's literally chasing ghosts. The BMP fumes are leaking into the crew compartment. See, now we got this tank coming around, I guess, to check on this BMP going like, what are you doing? What the BMP doing? Oh. His engine just immediately cut out, so I'm like, oh, is that my audio dying? No, we're good. Hey, look, it's a friendly MRAP, right? You wouldn't shoot a friendly MRAP, right? Oh, God, it was bait! But that was a Blue 4 vehicle. Now we got ATGMs firing. Tank's gun is dead in the water. What does that say? Taxpayer brought me? Yep. Taxpayers indeed bought him. He went and he exploded. I love how you have this suppressed shooter up here trying to kill this one crewman that bailed out. Now it's using AG rounds. They left the sector, though. What do you... Don't ram it, you goober. You're winning. Just get away from it. I can't believe those chuckleheads then tried to ram it. Are you now shooting each other? Blue 4 have no more armored vehicles in the zone, except for an MRAP. It's... I think we're GG. 78 minutes in. Yeah, it's T90s versus M1A2 Abrams. Yeah, they're 500 points in the difference between their home sectors. Op4 is now 300 points up. That is, what, 8 minutes? And if there's 41 minutes remaining at 3 sectors, that means Op4 really just need to hold all 3 sectors for another, I want to say... what's 40 divided by 3? Like 13 minutes. Yeah, so if Op4 holds all 3 sectors for another 13 minutes, they just win by default because they have more points than Blue 4. Yeah, so all 3 zones have been taken. Abrams are still another few minutes away to get to Sector 5. I'm pretty sure it's GG at this point. I'm just gonna check now, like, how many tanks does Blue 4 have? We've got 1, 4... Okay, we have 9 tanks remaining, not including the ones that just got deployed. And Op4 just took 2 out, so we've got, what, 3, 4... 8, yeah. So somehow Blue 4 have more tanks, but... I mean, Op4 have more results here. I think this is it. Because all Blue 4 really need to do is hold this choke point here. Because that's the only river crossing, is this these bridges. So just hold those choke points. Actually, there's a 4th one right there. Hold that line, and then just hold Sector 5, and you're good. Because they're not going to... I sincerely doubt this Abrams is going to be smart enough to go around and then harass that back sector. If he is, good on him. But I think he's just going to go right to Sector 5. But a back cap would then divide Op4's attention. So I'm like 90% certain here that that Op4's got this one in the bag. But if Blue 4 were to rush this tank around, that's really their only hope to win, is if they get that vehicle to go to Sector 1, you know? Ah, man. We see some shots going off. I think the only thing I'm a little disappointed about is we didn't see that much drone warfare, but that's okay. Curious to see if Waldo's going to run up. I think he's part of Blue 4 Command. Yeah. Here, let's do a quick death count as well. So, Sambi's on 1 death, Waldo on 1, Zahid on 2, so that Bradley crew, that's their last life. Same with this Bradley crew. Same with, I mean, these guys just died, so they're going to be on their last life as well. Part of this crew is down to their last life as well. Part of that crew is on the last life. That crew's on their last... Okay, no, that's the Echo Matt team. Yeah, some of them haven't even died yet. Good for them. But yeah, like at least a third to half of Blue 4's crews are on their last life. Fancy just died once. Trying to look now at the Op 4 crews. I mean, they've all... Banks has died twice. But most of these guys have only died once. Purton, though, 3... Yeah, so, I mean, Dobbs and Purton being the elite crew, 1 death and then 3 armor kills and 9 infantry kills. Yeah, I'm calling it. This is GG. Because now, if Blue 4 lose any more of their tank crews, they won't get them back. And what are these guys? Okay, they're one of the few crews that are only on 1 life. Or they still have 2 lives. Necomod, you can't use that vehicle as cover, dude. They're just going to snipe the vehicle and kill you. You need to angle yourself to, like, run away. Bro, they're going to switch to an HE. I can't believe they missed the gas with that round. Like, throw smokes in this position, pull your AT out, and risk it for the biscuit if you're going to play hero. Buddy. Buddy. The tube is empty. He doesn't have any ammo for it, but I'm still going to make fun of it. There he goes. I'll be right back 1 second. Keep it on the macro. Alright, I can hear the Abram engine. Sorry about that. We do have the blockade, though, here. So when Abrams run up, that T-90 in there is trying to use it as cover. And then we got other Abrams back here. They haven't noticed the gremlin in the tunnel yet. I can't tell. I think the gun might be disabled here. That, or he's firing rounds and they're hitting this texture here. Yeah, he's firing the wrong type of ammo, first off, and second, it's hitting the back of the tank here. And I think he just got found by the other Abrams. Yeah, this crew hasn't even died yet, though. Yeah, you can see where the gun's lined up, though. It's been hitting the back of the tank there. So we have another tank coming around. This tank still has another life. They hit the wrecked one instead of a live one. Now they're hitting the right one. Good evasive tactics here by that tank, and now we're seeing the Abrams sniping this other one. Someone in here just died. It was the commander, though. And they whiff their shot. Abrams now trying to get around, but they get hit on the ass and taken out. And that stopped the uptick of points. This isn't going to mean shit, though, if they can't then reposition and try to hit another area here. We do have a few vehicles coming up, though. They might try to go around, but now we've got some T-90s over here trying to flank around. But an Abrams is starting to try to snipe. I thought I saw a round go all the way out there, but that might just be these T-90s firing at the Abrams out here. How are they on ammo? I mean, these are all fresh tanks, so the Abrams should be fine. But yeah, you just saw everything converge on that position, which was quite funny. And then we still have these chuckleheads dueling it out over here, but you got to remember, OPFOR, they do have a triple R position out here, hidden away in, I believe, this building, unless they moved it. Nope, still there. So you just see occasionally there's armor pieces coming back to do triple R there. McPhil playing dead. He's got a few blue 4 guys around him. He's looking at the wall, though, instead of... That is a nice shade of, brown. I thought he was going to ambush those guys, but I guess he's playing dead. But we got some drone backpacks there. Or he's AFK. Who knows? Thought he had the opportunity to get some snipes there, but I guess not. I love how desperate you see the crewmen get and they start trying to engage the vehicles here. Alright, 30 minutes remaining. Just run him over. I mean, technically you're not supposed to do that in FNF, but I mean, he's right there. He's literally charging your vehicle at that point. I would just run the bastard over too at that point. So yeah, OPFOR, we see that they're just holding the choke points now. We see that some of the vehicles are getting super aggressive now. Just they're going for kills. At least that's what I would think, but instead you have all these units turned away. Waldo might unluckily get run over. Nope. Waldo could climb up and kill the gunner. I don't think Waldo is based enough to do it. It would be so funny if he climbed up on the tank and shot the gunner, though, because the hatch was open. So they're shooting at infantry all the way up here. However, there is an MRAP they just drove next to. Tow launcher. Don't use your auto cannon tow launcher. I swear to God if you die because you didn't just deploy your tow launcher instead. Hey, tow launcher. There it is. Now it's coming up. I think that one's going to cook off too because it took a hit. No, I think it's dead. It's very dead. It's very dead. Yes. Yes, it's, yeah. Okay, yep, dead. D-E-D, dead. Other tank just got behind the other Bradley. It just missed its first tow, and it got ricocheted around because it got hit by 2 tanks. And this is their 3rd life, so they're out after this. Something else just cooked off up here. Was this an Abrams, maybe? Yeah, Abrams got sniped by potentially Wheaton over here, or by the Echo crew that was... There were some other Echo elements, but they appear to be dead now. Can someone do some math for me? What's 30 times 60? That would be what? 1,800, I believe? Because that's a 30-minute the 30-minute difference. So I'm saying this right now. If Op4 has over 1,800 points, they won. That over Blue 4. So it's like a 1,000 point difference right here, not including that 300. And then there's like a 12. Yeah, no, Op4 won. Because it's 4,600 points to like 7,200. So unless Op4 somehow lost every single sector immediately, there's no way Blue 4 can bounce back. So it's GG to Op4 at this point. Remember when I said earlier, because everyone bet Blue 4, if you just put like 10 points on Op4, you would take that entire pot? What was the point difference between Blue 4 and Op4 in the bets? Can someone tell me? Because Op4 upset. Because I was right, though, that the Bradley with the double toe launcher, I think that was the deadliest asset in this entire AO, was a toe launcher that could insta-kill the enemy tanks. It's just they weren't used as Overwatch elements effectively. I think Op4 were more aggressive in the early game to allow control of 2 of the sectors. Blue 4 was a little too skittish. Op4 also did a right thing of putting a triple R position right outside of where the main fight was going to be. Granted, they had a mistake of having a few guys on Overwatch fallacy, but Blue 4, because they didn't have a front triple R position, they just couldn't do triple R properly, whereas Op4 could and get right back into the AO. And that's what basically allowed Op4 to outperform Blue 4. We might see a Blue 4 vehicle rush now, though. Trying to get over to that sector, but I'm trying to think here. With 25 minutes remaining, if Blue 4 has 2 of the... No, they need all 3 to win. Because 2 sectors with that, what, 3,000 point difference? Oh, God. Did one of these guys just try a Hail Mary shot? Because I thought they just hit it. That, I think, was a drone. Six on Op4. Yeah, Op4 had nothing on it, and then people changed last second. Interesting. Because I was watching it for a while, and it was like most points were going to Blue 4 in the beginning. Yeah, no, these guys totally just used the Crocus drone and sniped that tank. Brilliant play. Can they quickly deploy another tank, though? Another drone, excuse me. Cosmonaut, buddy, deploy the drone. Just crouch, deploy it, go back to prone, start flying it, hit tank. Come on, deploy it. Deploy the drone. Oh, come on, Cosmonaut. You could get a double kill on the drones, and we can claim we saw some pretty good drone action. Yeah, the fact that we have an 1,000 point difference here, not including the 384 they capped on that sector, I mean, that's what really seals the deal. And then we got a 1,400 point difference there. $20 times 60 is 1,200. Multiply that by 3 because there's 3 sectors, and that's 3,600. And that's the maximum amount of points that can be scored over a 20-minute period. No, it is 3,600. So, at what point... There's a 1,800 point difference between Blue 4 and Op 4 right now. And that's slowly gaining, but... I think Blue 4 only have like another 5 minutes tops to take the other sector, and then maybe they can bounce back with the remaining time, but it's unlikely. Farrah Op, thanks for the raid, buddy. What were you playing? I know he doesn't want his drone to get hurt, but the drone was meant to hurt people. Though I will say, sniping out one of the tanks was a good idea, but they're going to get stuck now at this bridge because there isn't really a proper way to cross. They could maybe come on this side, but it's still somewhat deep. They could cross, like, right here and then go in, but yeah, no. They're going to have to go and take the bridge crossing. Maybe right here, actually. Right here, I think, is shallow enough for them to do it. And then they can get right on top of the sector. But we do have some Op 4 tanks that can immediately turn in and assist, so I don't know. It's not going to go that long. KHOT. What game is KHOT? I actually don't know that one on the top of my head. Well, nonetheless, welcome. They could maybe go that way as well, but they would just have to get a driving start with the tank, and maybe they'll have the speed to cross. But again, they're burning precious seconds. What's funny over here is I think these guys are going to try to hunt down the triple R position. They'll catch some of these tanks doing triple R back here. But yeah, Blue 4's going all in on being offensive because they know they can't stay defensive right now. That might actually get Blue 4 back on the board to be close, but they're not going to win it. Yeah, so you see this Cormit launcher watching. How about that? Let's do a quick tank check on both sides here. So we got 3, 4, 8 Blue 4 tanks remaining. What about Op 4? How many tanks do they have remaining here? 1, 3. Wow. So I think Blue 4 shifted over to IFVs because we've got, what, 3 B? Yeah. Like 7 BMPs remaining, but Blue 4, how many Bradleys do we have left? Yeah. It was out of 12, though. So both sides have relatively the same amount of Bradleys down. Nope, they flooded the tank. That's GG. They couldn't find a spot to cross, so Op 4 is just going to move defensive units down to this area and hold it. Op 4, this tank is going to sneak around and retake that sector. It's over, guys. Here, let's see if we can watch Blue 4 get some snipes on some of these vehicles here. Tracers are broken. Have you ever seen something in a video game where you're just genuinely shocked by, like, what is going on here? Why is your head turned? I was like, where are you? He just smoked him out so he could run around. I guess they're out of 8. Okay, no, they still have. Good shot. That might actually cook that tank off. Great hit there. Nightmare finds Miller, taps him. Jackdaw, thanks for the 713 sub, buddy. Hope you keep enjoying the operations. Hope you get a nice kick out of this scenario. Okay, vehicle doesn't cook off. Wayne is still alive in there. The cook-off seems really finicky. Like, the Maz, the RPG-32s were able to cook off the tanks, the Abrams at least, but the Mazes don't seem to always be able to cook off the T-90s. And speaking of, the tank that was near this sector left. Now you got some Op 4 infantry running up. Got a Blue 4 vehicle that pushed on. They got taken out. They were in that stolen gas. Sailor, I'm not sure if he's going to spot the open hatch. But we do have a bunch of dudes out here. Looks like one of them just gave up and sat down. Sailor, oh god, if he has a grenade. There are mods to breach tanks, but I doubt they're on right now. You should just take the vehicle and drive away. That's what I would do. It's like, or just like drive it in the water and flood its engine. Meanwhile, back to this fight. The other tank's now driven around. Form a wheel barricade. "15 minutes remaining." It's GG at this point. This is a 400-point difference, and that is a 1,900-point difference. Even if Blue 4 took all 3 sectors right now, I think Op 4 would still have the victory. Looks like they got that tank fixed, but... Okay, yeah, you're not allowed to take a tire and try to kill a tank with it. Even though it would work in Arma, that's unfortunately against the rules, but I love your thinking. And there's my game crashing again. Alright. Can I be honest with you guys? It's GG. It's done. There's 15 minutes left. Op 4. There's a sound bug that sometimes the sound causes a status access violation that crashes your game. I'm going to be honest, though, guys, with 15 minutes remaining, Op 4 with 2 out of the 3 sectors, Blue 4's momentum completely gone. And the, like, 2,000-esque point difference that Op 4 and Blue 4 has, and it gets 1 additional point every second, it's GG. Yeah, dedicated server. That's always been a bug. It's always been that way for as long as I can remember. It's just something with RHS. But regardless, that's done. Op 4 won that one. And I think that's pretty fine. I think it went as well as it could. Op 4 showed more aggression. They brought Triple R up with them, and they seemed to have a bit more organization. Blue 4 got a little more organized at the end, but then it was too little too late. So it's GG at that point. Anyway, that's the round. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Go operate operationally. Might be back later, might not. Otherwise, cheers, and have a good one.